except Coby and
Yes,
Zach.
everybody was available. Yep.
Billy, sorry. I don't know your protocol around here because obviously I'm new, but for a guy like going through Kobe's rehab, does he travel with you guys? Does he stay here to use the facility?
I believe that he is staying back on a one-day trip. The biggest thing that we make determinations on is what is the work rate they can get done here in Chicago versus being on the road. And with where Kobe's at and the resources here, he'll stay back behind.
I almost joked with you the other night about the box score. You won the rebounding battle and the free throw battle. Are you going to frame that box score?
That was a good start, Case. Yes, very good start.
I mean, those have been points of emphasis for you, right? I mean,
I just think that I think again, you go back every year and you try to take a deep dive into where you can get better, where we can improve. And I think for us, like, we generated really, really good shots. We played with really good pace and speed. I think we had the 11th best effective field goal percentage. But then you look at, okay, well, what are the reasons why? And you got four factors. You got turnovers, offensive rebounds, what your shooting percentage is. And for us, we were not a team that got a lot of offensive rebounds, and we weren't a team that got to the free throw line very much. Now, I think after the trade deadline, we did a better job of getting to the free throw line. And then the other thing, too, is you look at the rim differential. So those things flipped at the last 27 games. I think we were +2 at the rim in terms of the total number of shots at the rim. We were +2 against our opponent. But for the year, we were -4 or 5. So if you take no offensive rebounds and you're giving up 4.7 extra shots at the rim and you're giving up 4 extra shots of total number, it's back to the math thing that you and I had talked about with the 3-point shot. So, one, how can we do a better job of offensive rebounding, generate? How do we keep teams off the glass, to generate more possessions for ourselves? And then the biggest thing is, it's still a challenge for us, and we've got to get better, is, we got to take care of the basketball and make better choices and decisions with the ball, because that really offsets anything. So when you look at the total number of shots, it really comes down to 2 things: the offensive rebounding and the turnovers. Those are the things that flip possession. So we've tried to put a little bit more of a focus on that. And then I think the defensive physicality, quite honestly, at the point of the screen, which enables us to hopefully do a better job of protecting the rim.
you said you're going to do a dive on Modest's -10 in the box score. What did you see on film?
Well, I do think what ended up happening was a big part of it was the group. I think there was 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in the game in the third quarter. Modest was out there. I think it was Modest, Io, Tre Jones, Dalen, and Jalen Smith were out there. Josh came back in to start the 4, but basically I think in 3 minutes and 10 seconds from the 110 mark to down around 9:50, we're up by 20, and we ended up, I think, being up by 8 or 9. That had a lot to do with it, and I wouldn't sit there and say it was all Modest. That group in particular needed to do better. But I like taking dives onto that, because you look at a guy like Isaac, he only takes 2 shots in the game. He's +17 in 22 minutes. So, what are the things that he's doing? And listen, I'm not like, the plus minus to me is not the end all, but it is a tool to at least look at. Yeah. And I think guys have got to be aware how they impact each other on the court. And that group, at the end of the third, up 20, we didn't close the quarter particularly well, and we need to be better there, all of them, not just necessarily Modest, but everybody.
Just one more from me. By all accounts, it's been a pretty spectacular opening week on the court for the league. I mean, there's been incredible games, incredible individual performances, but obviously yesterday was a pretty big day from an off-the-court perspective. What was your reaction to some of the names that were involved and just some of the accusations that were levied?
I mean, obviously I was really, really surprised when that stuff came out, and certainly respect that everybody's innocent until proven guilty. I think the other part, like, Chauncey and I have had a really, really good relationship. He's always been really good to me. I've seen him even before he got into coaching, and obviously respected him as a player and winning an NBA championship and all the things that he's accomplished as a player and the job that he was doing at Portland. I'm just really, really surprised and saddened by all of it. I obviously Coach Pitino, is close with me. I mean, he coached Terry Rozier. I know the way he spoke about Terry Rozier and his competitiveness as a guy. You just get surprised by those things, and I'm sure we don't have all the details. There's probably more to come out, but it's just sad that, they're dealing with that personally as human beings, and the league's dealing with it as well.
Just going back to the shot profile stuff and some of the sort of math dynamics that you're sorting out. I don't want to make too much of it, so we've got a couple preseason games and obviously one regular season game. But the threes are down a little bit. I know you're more concerned about generating good shots and breaking down the defense getting in the paint. but just what have you seen about the shot profile in general, and how much of it has to do with like Coby being out and that being one of your primary guys?
Well, I think it's really interesting because that was like the first thing that stood out to me in the Detroit game. There was only 33-point shots, and we've been a team that's pretty close to 38 to 44, somewhere in that range. So that was a big dip. I think the one thing, Will, that ended up happening to us, which has been a positive since the preseason and even this game, when you get to the free throw line, it's going to eliminate your shot attempts in those possessions. I think that's had a lot to do with it. I think the other part, in relationship to a year ago, we've done a better job getting to the paint. So it's actually created a lot more rim shots or paint shots for us. Like that was the biggest difference, I think, in the game against Detroit was just analytically. We made more threes than they did. We got to the free throw line more than they did. And then the other thing, too, is you look at just the 2-point shots besides the rim, whether it's a paint two or a non-paint two. We shot 55% on paint twos, and that's way, way above league average. So I'm not sitting here saying that we can live and die on that hill because it's really hard to sustain that, but we finished plays in the lane. And then I think the other part of it, too, is the free throw line. We got to the free throw line 32 times. There was times last year we had a hard time getting to the free throw line 20 times. So sometimes when those possessions are taken away and you're shooting free throws, the rim and the free throw line are going to take away a lot of times your total number of threes.
Billy, it's well known by now that Modest has asked to be coached tougher. He's kind of commanding those expectations. For you, obviously, you had this long Hall of Fame career. I imagine you've had to get to that level with certain players. Like when you are being asked to get to that level of tough coaching, like what are you drawing on? Are there past teachers you're thinking of? Like what are some of the experiences you're drawing on?
No, I don't, man. I think the biggest mistake that anybody can make in coaching is try to be somebody other than they're not. I think every coach in this league is gifted with his own unique talents and abilities, and I think the one thing you got to do is try to be true to yourself, because I think players can tell when you're not being authentic or being real and being yourself. I haven't changed anything, in terms of coaching Modest. I think when you talk to any player, when they come in, especially new, whether it's a draft pick or it's Isaac, you always want to say, hey, what's the best way to communicate? What are the things that I can do to help you with? And for Modest, it was just like, listen, just stay on me. Just stay on me and help me in the areas that I need to get better at. And, again, like I think that when you look at the situation with Patrick Williams coming in as a rookie, with the way our team was at, the COVID thing, he really got thrusted into a situation where he had to play a lot of minutes early. With the way our team was built last year, with Patrick being there, Julian, different people that were maybe more experienced, it was quite honestly a lot easier taking him off the floor when he wasn't doing the things he's supposed to be doing. And I think there's a fine line in the coaching. I believe the coaching is constant confrontation. It's constant confrontation. But I think people think a confrontation is yelling and screaming. It's not that. It's just confronting whatever the issue is. So I think when Modest, if he says, I want hard coaching, it's not necessarily me yelling and screaming at him as much as it's about confronting the things that he has to do. And I feel like we've done that since he's been here.
And then I think the word you used the other day was that you tested him last year. Is it kind of fair to say that test is just sort of ongoing at that?
I'm not sure with the context when I said tested him in which way.
I don't remember the exact context. I think you were talking about like how much you played him last year.
Yeah, I think he got tested last year from the standpoint that there was not a very, very big backyard for him to play in. He was in a very, very small boxed area, and it was based on what are the things that he has control over and what are the things that he can do well. And when he wasn't doing those things, it impacted his minutes. And I've said this before, everything that Modest got during the course of the season was all what he did. And I got unbelievable respect for his work ethic, his commitment, his perseverance, his drive, his resiliency, because guys can get frustrated or point fingers or pout. That wasn't him. He went back to work and tried to get better. And I think he's utilized mistakes as an opportunity to learn and grow from it. And there is a confidence and a fearlessness to him, balanced with humility, that I think has enabled him to grow at the rate he's grown at.
Billy, with Coby out and Tre got a start that night, and since I have a really good chemistry with Vooch, so how do you like the way he ran the offense, and how do you see the importance from him?
Yeah, I think Tre has done a really, really good job. He's played exceptionally well, since he's been back. I don't think it's been much of a secret after the time I had a chance to spend with him last year how I felt about him personally, not only as a person but as a player and just as a teammate. he's really competitive. He's really, really smart. He knows how to play. He made a lot of great decisions coming down the stretch. I think for us, we're going to need multiple ball handlers out there, whether it's Io and him or Josh and him or Dalen being out there. But I think Tre is one of those guys that just a basketball player. He can figure it out and function, with any group on the floor.
Thank you.
Thanks
Okay,
a lot,
thank you guys.
See you
Yep,
in
thank you.
Orlando.
Yep.
Anybody sing to you?
Yes, Noah and Mikey did it.
How'd they do?
Not bad, pretty good duo. Not bad.
What are your birthday dinner plans?
Just my family's flying in as well, so we're just gonna go to our house down there and just a little family dinner. Spend it with my wife and kids. A lot of times I'm not home or I'm on the road or somewhere else, but happens to be Orlando. They happen to be off school. They have parent-teacher conferences are not in school, so we're gonna fly in and we're just gonna spend it together.
It is pretty wild that you're in Chicago and Orlando on
No,
your birthday. It's like, what?
I know it's interesting timing, but yeah, it worked out well, so they can come as well, and we can be together for my 35th birthday, so it'll be nice.
We talked to you after the game the other night, but looking back at the tape, like you were so impactful with the trail threes early, but then you went to the floater in the two-man game late. How comfortable are you, obviously, in both those situations offensively?
Yeah, I'm very comfortable. Obviously, I think one of my biggest strengths is that I'm multidimensional offensively. I can play inside, I can play outside, I can score from different positions, and I think I have good chemistry with all my teammates on the floor. And it's just about reading the situation during the game. Early on, they were in those couple of those trail threes I made. They were the big men got dragged down by our guards driving. And it's something we'll work on for me to just step into the three and knock those down. And then toward the end of the game, they were pretty aggressive, and the pocket opened up, so I was making those reads. And so, I think it's something that makes us hard to guard as well, because I can shoot it, Sticks can shoot it, Zach also. We can all shoot it, and so it's hard. I know when I have to defend a big man that can step out, shoot, or can also play inside. You have to do it all, and it's difficult to defend. So worked out for us. I thought we'd make good reads out of it, and we got some good looks out of it.
I'm just curious about the sort of half-court player movement and ball movement that you guys have this year. It seems like there's a lot more cutting. What's the emphasis been on that? Just kind of open up the floor a little bit and create more spacing without necessarily having to shoot.
Yeah, I think at times last season we would get slowed down in half court, especially if it wasn't out of a pick and roll or handoff action. We didn't really move as well off the ball. If in situations where a big catches at an elbow, or if it's a guard that kind of doesn't have his dribble anymore, for us to get movements out of it. And it's something that Billy and the coaching staff really put emphasis on during camp. And we work on a lot in practice, and it's something we talk about. And I think the league in general, is doing a lot of that off-ball movements, especially now with bigs being able to pass as well and stretch the floor. It opens up so many different opportunities offensively. So it's something we talk about a lot. I think the additions of like Tre and Kevin last year, they're great cutters. Isaac Poro this year, they're really good cutters, and that adds another dimension to our offense and makes it tough for the guards. So it's something we talk about a lot. So we don't just play off the dribble, because sometimes teams are really going to try to take that away from us. So we have to find different ways to be efficient.
And for you, obviously, such a good passer, like you definitely make some of those plays. What's the difference been like for you in terms of how it feels out there creating these
It feels good. I think a lot of the stuff we run really helped me use my skill set. Like I said, inside, outside, playing out of pick and roll in the pops, pocket, out of elbow action, different ways that I can have the ball and be efficient and make reads. And so, especially when the guards move, it makes it very easy for me just to try to make the right read and make the right play. But when we all move and when we all involved in the offense, that's what's going to make it hardest to guard. So we have to stick to that, continue to do that. And, we try to play fast, so we have to understand that teams are going to try to match that with physicality and try to slow us down, and we have to find ways to fight against it.
Vooch, the on-the-court product this week has been spectacular. Incredible games, incredible individual performances. Obviously, yesterday there was some significant off-the-court news. What was your kind of reaction? Obviously, there's innocence until guilt, but what was your reaction just even to accusations and the charges?
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see that happening in our league. Obviously, like you said, innocent and proven guilty. So, I'm not going to go too much into that because we don't know what's going to happen with the investigation. But I think that in general, gambling is a big problem, not only here but worldwide. But I think now that it's got into sports here, a lot of people are involved in it. A lot of people gamble, and it's fortunately a lot of people get stuck in it and it's hard to get out. It's available on your phone. All you got to do is download the app. You can just play. We as players feel it a lot when we step on the court. Nowadays, you hear more often, before you used to hear hey, Vuce, get a win, or hey, do this and that. Now it's hey, my parlay is 10 rebounds, I need 10 boards, or hey, my parlay is 15 points, or you come out of timeout, you hear people say that, and a lot of times you turn it's 14, 15-year-old kids. And honestly, it pisses me off because it's disrespectful to the game. We put so much work in to try to do the right thing, to put good product on the court and play the right way and try to win for our team. And people focus on if I'm going to get 10 rebounds or not, or for anybody else. I think it's very unfortunate, but even back home, we have big issues with that. There's a lot of areas, a lot of places you can go and gamble on sports. So yeah, it's a big problem for the world. It's it's a big addiction for people. So it's something that the NBA is going to have to look at and try to find a way to fix it as much as possible. But yeah, it's unfortunate that we're dealing with it, but we'll see what comes out of it.
You guys go through a lot of training about that, right? Preseason.
Yeah.
How much I guess what kind of stuff do you go through?
Yeah, we have meetings every day. Every season. Usually it's the team lawyer that comes in and talks to us about it and explains to us that any gambling that's related to the NBA is illegal, whether it's NBA, whether it's WNBA, G League, whatever it is related to it, we cannot do it. Even giving out information if we know that this and so it might not play, or so and so, whatever, to not give out those informations. And I think that nowadays you have to be even more careful because you never know, people might just come to you and ask, hey, is Coby back? And you're like, you might say nah, he's not, because you're not thinking anything out of it, but they might use it. So you have to be even more careful nowadays. It's just the way it is. But yeah, we definitely the NBA does a good job trying to train us. But it's one meeting that you have, and it's easy to get caught into it. And it's the way it's made. Just like casinos are. You go in there, they put all these lights, they put all this stuff, they give you free drinks, and you're just playing, and you get caught into it, and it's not easy. You win one or two times, you think, oh, now I'm going to win all the time, but if everybody was winning, none of those would exist. So yeah, it's a big problem, but you have to just be extra careful nowadays.
Last one.
It's just going back to the basketball. So how do you like the way that Tre Jones will run the offense? And it seems like you're playing confident with him. And just how did you guys get that sort of a chemistry?
Yeah, I really enjoy playing with Tre. He's a great team player. He does a lot of little things on the floor that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. Defensively, he's very aggressive. He's in passing lanes. He takes on bigger matchups a lot of times, but very, very good, competitive on that end. And offensively, just a smart guy, knows how to play, makes a simple play, doesn't force things. Plays at a good pace. I think him and I from the beginning were able to build a good chemistry pretty quick. Good off the ball as well. Just smart guy, He claims he went to Duke, so that's what helped. I don't know if that's true, but no, I'm kidding. But yeah, he's just a good player, a great teammate to have, and yeah, we're lucky to have him. So I enjoy playing with him a lot. And I think in that first game you saw towards the end of the game, him and I had some good two-man game situation that worked out for us really well.
Thanks a lot, Vuce.
Nope.
I joked with you the other night post-game about the two-man game with Vuce. What kind of luxury is it for you? He's got the ability to be the trail big early in the game and hit those threes, and then late in the game, they're pressing a little more, so he finds the pocket in the two-man game. He's a really versatile big man to score.
Yeah, he's a three-level scorer.
Yeah.
He's been around the league for a while. I think everyone knows how he plays and his game, and just the level that he can score the basketball at. We saw it the other night. He came out early, got a couple easy baskets at the rim, and then he got it going from the three, and he was kind of had it going from there. But yeah, down the stretch, we were able to just find him a couple times, mid-range, and then a couple floaters, his go-to. And he's going to be big for us. We just need that play.
He talked about the chemistry that he found with you pretty quickly. Do you feel that you've found that pretty much with all your teammates? Because you kind of feel connected to all of them.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I feel like we fast-tracked chemistry when I got here. I don't know. I think it's just, the IQ that some of the guys have definitely helps us all just be on the same page. Obviously, Vooch knows the game really well. And so it's easy to be on the same page with a big like that when he thinks the game at such a high level.
How do you see the Pistons changing their defense after the first half? It was like walking into a bunch of trail threes, and then they played a little bit more aggressive. How do you feel like that was?
Yeah, like you said, he had a lot of open threes in the first half, so their big man was hanging back and kind of trying to protect the paint. Him hitting a couple of those threes, brought the big out and opened up the paint for us guards, but also for him as well to use a shot fake and be able to get downhill.
With Coby out for the first 2 weeks, do you feel more responsibility in the backcourt?
Yeah, for sure. I think the responsibility falls on the entire team. Honestly, now one guy can pick up the full load of what Coby was bringing for us, and so it kind of falls on all of us, and we're all ready to try to just help out in any way we can.
Are you having to do anything maintenance-wise for that foot injury you had last season, or is that totally in the past?
Nah, it's in the past. Yeah, it's just all.
How quickly did that resolve after the season or during?
It was about a month after, until I was feeling back to myself again. Wasn't rushing it, obviously. It was off-season, but yeah.
So I should
took a little.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
We talked to you before about the comfort level Billy Donovan had showed with you. I mean, what is it like to kind of, while Coby's out, know you're going to be the starter?
Yeah, it's definitely a little confidence boost for sure, but for me, I think being that extension of coach on the court is definitely huge for a point guard. We need that on the team, and so continue to try to build that in my role. Continue to try to lead with my voice more and more, and try to talk to the guys as much as I can. When Coby comes back, whatever the lineup is, we'll be running a lot of different lineups on the court. And the main thing is just about winning, how we can help each other. Just to set us up to win games, and so continue to just try to do everything I can, whether it's on or off the court, to help my team win.
Billy really values having multi-ball handlers in the lineup. How comfortable are you with Josh? You guys had 19 assists between you in the first game. How comfortable are you with Josh kind of reading how to play off each other?
Yeah, I think we have really good chemistry going right now. We're talking a lot off the court. On the court, I think we feed off each other really well as well. He's a playmaker, thinks the game at a high level, and so I think we just kind of feed off each other there and try to keep the thing rolling.
Thoughts on Orlando?
Big physical team, besides that one guard they have.
Jalen Suggs?
Nah, the other one.
Thank you.
Thanks.